Welcome to the Coin Collector channel. I've got a neat coin for you today. This is an 1853 seated Liberty half dollar. This is the second version of this coin. It is the Arrows and Rays version. I'll show you what that looks like now. As you can see, the date has a set of arrows on either side of it, as well as on the back, on the reverse of this coin, around the eagle, you see what is supposed to be like rays of sunlight all around the behind the eagle. So that's why it's called the Arrows and Rays. Now, this coin was minted in two locations. It was minted in Philadelphia and in New Orleans. This one is a Philadelphia mint, and they minted 3.5 million of these coins in Philadelphia this year, and only 1.3 million in New Orleans. This coin is 90% silver and 10% copper, and this coin was designed by Christian Gobrecht. The value of this coin in good condition is around $65, whereas in an MS63 condition, it is around $3,500. Now, there is something else to be said about the values and the mint locations and such like that. There was actually a version of the first version of this coin, which was there was no motto above the eagle, and there was no rays and no arrows. So it was pretty much just a blank 50 cent. You just had the seated Liberty, you had the date, and the eagle as well as the United States of America half dollar. But anyways, with that version, which was in 1839 to 1853, there was a mess up there, because when they switched to the second version, which is this one, the Arrows and Rays, there is a 1853 coin that still was produced with the old version die. So there was only 4 of those ever known so far. There's only been 4 that's been found. So that's an 1853 O Mint, so New Orleans, but it's version 1 of the die. So it's not the Arrows and Rays, even though it's supposed to be because of the year. So that is actually valued, because there's only been 4, that one is valued at, if you can find a good one, $150,000, but if you can find a very fine version, it is $500,000, with the record sale being $517,000 in 2017 because of that rarity and misprint they did with that. So, speaking about the versions, I'll run through now all the different versions of the coin that they had. Version 1, like I said, was 1839 through 1853. There was no motto above the eagle, and no arrows and rays. Then you have version 2, which started in 1853, and it ended in 1854. It was only 1 year of this version, the 1853 year. This is the Arrows and Rays, and this is the coin that I have here today. Then after this version, you have version 3, which is 1854 to 1855. There is arrows on the date here, but there are no rays, no sun rays. So just the arrows on that version. Then from 1856 to 1866, they went back to version 1. And then they moved on to version 4, that went from 1866 to 1873, and that was there was a motto above the eagle. Then they went to version 5, which is in 1873 to 1874. They had arrows on the coin and the motto, so a combination. And then they went back to version 4 for the last version of this coin, which went from 1875 to 1891 until it was switched to a different design. Now, the designs that happened before this coin, this $50, was the caped bust reeded edge $50. Then you had the seated Liberty, which is what I have here. And then after this was replaced, it was replaced by the Barber $50. I recently had a subscriber comment on one of my videos. They suggested that I should put the inflation rate of the coin from the date on the coin to today. So, for example, this coin, instead of 50 cents in 1853, today it would be worth $20.50. So a whole $20 extra. That's pretty interesting. I will start putting those in all my videos. Some important events that happened in the year of 1853 include Franklin Pierce becomes the 14th president. This is particular for Kentucky. My Old Kentucky Home is published by Stephen Foster, and of course that eventually becomes the state song for Kentucky. So also Levi Strauss Company was founded. So obviously, Levi's that we know today, that company was founded this year. Vice President William King actually died of tuberculosis shortly after becoming the vice president. Potato chips are said to be invented during this year by George Crumb in New York State. I think that's funny because his last name is Crumb. The Commander Matthew Perry led the Perry expedition, which was naval ships going to Tokyo. That ended Japan's 220-year isolation period. So by opening its ports to America, to American vessels, this was called the Convention of Kanagawa. That's pretty important. Obviously, after 220 years of Japan being involved in isolationism instead of, having its ports open to other countries, Matthew Perry, the Navy commander, led that expedition that eventually became the Convention of Kanagawa to end that and open its ports to America. So, obviously, who could have carried this coin? Matthew Perry himself. I'd like to think that maybe he had this coin on him while he was commanding that expedition going across the seas to Japan. Who knows? He could have brought it back, and now it's the very coin that I hold. Or Franklin Pierce, of course, the president. Also, Stephen Foster, the man who created, he published, My Old Kentucky Home. Maybe this was his coin. And maybe that's why I have it. Me being in Kentucky, perhaps that's why I was able to find it at an antique store. It stayed in Kentucky its whole life, possibly. Either way, those are some people that could have carried it. And that's also what I like about the coin. But my favorite parts of this coin are definitely the design, especially the arrows and rays, especially this year. That's why I purchased this year specifically, because I just love the look of it. I think it's so clean, and it's not cluttered. It has a purpose, and it fulfills that purpose through the design. I like that a lot about the coin. It gets the point across without doing too much. I think it's just enough in design, in terms of design. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you learned something new, or if this video helped you out in any way with your collection, please leave me a like and possibly subscribe. and stick around for the next video. Thank you.